Cheat Code, Support Strategist, by Clouds. My Hand in the Clouds, Not Coming Down, on AO3. Chapter 57. New. Izuku watched the footage from the dodgeball match for the third time. Uraraka was progressing rapidly, which was impressive, but he still couldn't shake the nagging feeling that there was something off about the entire situation. People's quirks didn't just become 10 times more powerful overnight. Quirk development, and even quirk mutations, were either gradual or in response to trauma, and neither case was present here. And then there was what Uraraka had said about giving it back if he didn't help her. There was something weird going on, and Izuku wasn't sure how he was supposed to give an accurate analysis of an incomplete, or worse, falsified dataset. Hitoshi didn't knock when he came into Izuku's workroom, and Izuku didn't turn to acknowledge him, but he did nod. Hey, Hitoshi, make yourself at home. Already done. Hitoshi sat backwards on an extra chair so his arms were resting on the back and spun around. Oh, are you watching the dodgeball thing? Ocho did really well, don't you think? Izuku groaned. Exactly. She's doing great, and I still don't know why. Why did her quirk get so powerful? Why did she have no control over it? It doesn't make sense. Hitoshi hummed thoughtfully. I don't know. Aizawa was asking about her the other night and even referred to it as her new quirk, because it's so different from her standard gravity manipulation. Izuku's brain rebooted. Say that again? Hitoshi frowned. Teleportation is different than gravity manipulation? I thought that was obvious. No, before that. Izuku grabbed a notebook and almost broke his pencil from how quickly he grabbed it. You called it her new quirk. Well, Aizawa did. Hitoshi shrugged. But yeah, so what? Izuku grinned. So what are the problems? All of a sudden, Uraraka can teleport when she couldn't before. A new quirk would 100% explain that. She had zero control but has developed it extremely quickly, just like a 4-year-old getting used to their new quirk. And people don't just develop new quirks, which means somebody gave it to her, which explains why she would be able to return it. No wonder she's been super vague about it. Obviously, something like this is probably a huge secret. Hitoshi sat back in shock. Izuku, this isn't... Is something like this even possible? Izuku's phone buzzed, and he checked to see a message from Nezu. I think we're about to find out. Mineta was tired of dinner french fries, but small towns didn't have much to offer in the way of steak-out food. All for One had assigned him into a new few Stain fanboy and determined if there were any worth recruiting. He wasn't quite sure what exactly All for One had in mind for new recruits, and really wasn't sure why he was sending Stainkiller on this mission, especially because Mineta still had homework to do in the afternoons. But it seemed like Sensei had conveniently forgotten about that fact. Seriously, with all he did for the league, he should be the favorite, not the deadbeat gamer with a dandruff problem. He scuffed around another fly in his face, and he kept an eye on the street. His target should be passing through, if Mineta had guessed his route correctly. Most of the others had been a bust. They were either too weak, too wishy-washy in their ideals, or just plain not cut off for society enough to be convinced to leave it all behind and join the league. Mineta wasn't betting any money on this guy being any different. He consistently liked posts about Stain, or ones in line with those ideals, but hadn't made any of his own, and he was a classic definition of failure to launch. Staying in the same small town after high school depends the most non-existent career opportunities here. Mineta might as well just saved himself some time, crossed Shigariki, Ishikuhi off his list and go home. But he promised all for one he'd do the stupid mission. So he waited, and finally, the guy started walking along the street below him. The street wasn't busy, but there were definitely people around, and the reaction to this Ichuki guy were almost more promising than the guy himself. People stared at him while he passed, and Mineta was 100% sure that some of them were whispering slurs as soon as they thought the lizard was out of earshot. A few even passes to the other side of the street to avoid him. It was a classic case of mutation quirk discrimination, made even worse by the fact that, just like there was ones at the stoplight, there were probably only one mutant in his town. So, all the prejudgment and hatred from all those people who contracted and projected onto him. Mineta smiled and started bouncing along the rooftops, keeping in the shadows as he followed his target, always keeping him in sight. A guy with strong ideals in lines with Stain had believed and ready, oh so ready, to leave it all behind, screw all the people that had ever shunned him. Ishuki was exactly what All for One was looking for. He slipped into the window of Ishuki's apartment, while the guy himself took the stairs, even though Mineta knew full well that he could climb the walls. They'd have to get him into the habit of using his quirk more casual then, but that was a problem for later. For now, Mineta was just stuck a few balls in the corner of the room and hung out as the lock clicked and Ishikiri walked in. Speaking from experience, it would be faster to just climb the wall and come through the window. Ishikiri squealed, and Mineta almost thought he was going to do that thing where lizards lose its tail when in flight or fight situations, but all Ishikiri's limbs stayed attached. For now. Ishikiri lowered himself into a sloppy fighting stance and stared at Mineta in a mix of fear and curiosity. Who are you? Why are you in my apartment? You can call me Trapper. Mineta smiled and dropped onto a couch before standing. And I am here to change your life. Shoto was still figuring this whole homeless thing out. Maybe living on the streets was a better terms because he's already adopted Murderer Alley as his second home long before his father kicked him out permanently. Luckily, he didn't have to worry about things like showers or food because UA had a gym and a lunchroom, so he got a shower every morning and at least one meal a day, which wasn't that much less than Endeavor had been giving him anyways, so it wasn't too bad. The weirdest part of living on the streets, however, was definitely Shigaraki. He was actually fairly normal when he wasn't killing people, and was apparently a pretty big gamer. He'd bought his laptop and tried to introduce Shoto into video games, but Shoto couldn't even figure out how to pause the game, much less what he was supposed to do. Shigaraki groaned for the 5th time. Seriously? It's just point and shoot. How do you mess that up? Very carefully, Shoto deadpanned. The computer pinged a few times and a few notifications came up on the screen. Nice burn. Dusty got you a new streaming buddy. Poggers. New guy equals comedic relief. Shoto frowned. Is that part of the game? What did you do? Shigaraki scratched at his neck. What button did you press? I don't know. Shoto panicked. I was just pressing anything. I don't know what I'm doing, you know that. Shigaraki stared at him in disbelief. I can't believe you're so bad at this that you accidentally started streaming. The computer pinned again with notifications. Don't blame him for you being a bad teacher. Keep the new guy. An accident. How? You're a streamer? Shoto blinked. How do you even have time for that between attacking? Shigaraki slammed a hand over his mouth, thankfully, with only 4 fingers, and pressed a button that made a large mute notification flash across the screen. Okay, first rule, don't ever give out personal information online. That includes you being a hero brat, or me being a villain. Got it? Shoto nodded, and Shigaraki took his hands off his mouth. And yeah, I'm a streamer. It's just something I do for me. Sometimes it helps to rage, okay? I'm not popular or anything, but since you're here and people are already watching, we might as well turn this into a public humiliation. Hey, Shota said incredulously. I'm not... Okay, well, maybe I am that bad, but hey. Next rule goes along with number 1. Shigaraki didn't even bother to wait for a response, but he was a villain, so Shota didn't really expect him to. Don't use your real name. My tag is Dusty, so use it. What's yours? Shoto shrugged. Shoto? The look Shigaraki gave him very clearly stated that was unacceptable, so Shoto started looking around. His eyes fell on Ippur, who was curled against his left side, which was heated just enough that she didn't crawl across the keyboard again. She was the inspiration for stealing his life and his quirk back from his father, so maybe... Icy Cat. Shoto blurted out. You can call me Icy Cat. Shigaraki snorted, but unmuted the mic. Sorry about that, my local idiot. Somehow managed to mute us both. But yeah, I found a new streaming buddy for everyone to laugh at. So if you don't make him cry, I'll be pissed. Ice Cat here grew up with a silver spoon in his mouth and has never played before. So give him hell, yeah? Okay, now unpause the game and let's get playing again. We'd wasted too much time on the side quest already. Shoto froze. How do I do that again? Okay, can we talk about how smart Izuku is? Like, look at my little baby, my little boy, my son. So smart. Figuring out the secret of One for All, not only in cheat code support strategist, but also, figuring it out from in Deku. I think he's a pro by Clouds. My hand the Clouds not coming down. I'm so proud. I'm so proud. Okay, on to the next note. I did not know Mineta's name was Trapper. I don't know how 1 and 2 did not, put together to equal 3 in my head, but now I know. His name is Trapper, and oddly enough, that fits. And on to the part that everybody wants to talk about, probably. Shigaraki teaching Shoto how to play video games, and if that is not the most absolutely hilarious thing I've ever read, I don't know what is. I want more of it. Look, I didn't know I needed this, but now I do. Like, I've never outright wanted this, right? That weird duo, weird dynamic, weird pairing, platonically, not romantically, weird platonic pairing, or maybe sibling pairing? Found family pairing? Found family, question mark? Just saying. Hey, just saying. It's giving little bro, big bro. I'm just saying. Just pulling it out there. I didn't know I needed that, but now I know, and now I want more. Also, Shigaraki being a streamer. Yeah, no, that checks out. Yeah, that checks out. That checks out, and I want to see more of that. I want to see more of their duo, their found family trauma duo. They're gonna be now dubbed the Trauma Boys. I want to see more of the Trauma Boys. I need more of the Trauma Boys. As always, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Join our community Discord server, link is in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.